Hello everyone, this is Digitrex83 or Yuri or Mayuri, depending on where you're looking. Welcome to one of our streams. This is my official stream of the Searchlight Simulations AC4400, which just released yesterday at about 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let me just open up the volume mixer and make sure Train Sim is selected this time. There it is. Now this might be a little laggy. I cannot run TS19 at full settings, and even though I have this high-end laptop, it just simply won't do it. That's unfortunately out of my control. I wish it wasn't, but you know how things are. Alright, now I just need to make sure that I can grab my password real quick for Restream, because I am for the Restream chat app, because for some reason I'm forgetting it. I need to look it up real quick. Otherwise it will not let me into my chat app. So I will just need to do that for just a moment. Because otherwise I cannot see the chat. If there's any background noise, anyone please let me know. For some reason, Restream doesn't want to work right now. Give me a sec. Try something. Yeah, I guess I just won't be able to see the chat today, folks. Unfortunately, that's just kind of how it goes. Let me pull it up here. Watch chat app on my phone. Let's try it now. Alright, it works on my phone, but not on, That's strange. I'll have to use my phone in order to do this, so we're going to get right into this right now. I have had a chance to test this last night and activate it and everything, so we're going to start with probably the hardest of the sessions. This is on Canadian mountain passes. This is required for all the scenarios. All of the rolling stock for these scenarios can be found on Searchlight's website for free. The locomotive itself, for those who are wondering, costs $35. Comes in this scheme, comes with a slew of features, and it comes with rail driver support, which I will not be testing at this time. I have not set that up. I've had a very busy day, and I probably will be busy all the way up until Monday, so rather than wait, I wanted to get this stream out now. Alright. The stream does seem to be coming through as far as I can tell. So again, let me just pull up the manual for this really quick. If you guys hear the sounds of any racing fans, unfortunately it's just how the laptop is. I told it to run at max speeds, the fans to run at max speeds, so that we wouldn't have any issues. Unfortunately, we may have a few issues during this stream. I want this to be a little bit more professional than my SW1000R stream, although I had far more time during that day to be able to actually review it. I've been going back and forth between two jobs and stuff.
Hi, Jonah.
Hello. Loading up the first scenario. I got it working last night. It was the problem was.
I remember you were trying to get it working at the end of the crossbook stream.
Yeah. Well, what happened was, you know how I was using Tilda for voice talk?
Yeah, that's a default TS thing.
Yeah, I was talking with Woody about that. So every single time I would talk, it would put I would be talking long enough to put the brakes back into suppression.
Yeah, it's a secondary apply brake button.
Yeah, so I fixed that, and I got it working. Now, granted, I can run like Black Ops 3 at 60 frames a second. For some reason, it seems like no matter what computer you get, I can never get TS above 30.
That's my computer,
Ever.
but...
So I'm running, as much as I want to show this locomotive off at like the highest detail possible, I'd rather people watch it at 18 frames a second than 12 to 15.
That makes sense.
I haven't set up the search. I've been out doing yard work all day, so I haven't even had time to really set up rail drivers. So I'm not doing that till tomorrow or tonight. I'm gonna do like a two-parter stream.
Yeah, I mean, I just came back from the beach, so.
Alright, so my route has...
I mean, I know some people that are able to run TS at 60 FPS, but I'm not naming them because I do not like those people at all.
Okay, the entire game had to slowly load in. While you get the power cut in, I'll get a hold of the RTC and let them know we'll be ready to go. Alright, so TS is in a very strange state right now where it's taking longer than ever through my portable hard drive to load in the universe.
That happens to me regularly now, given my computer's memory issue. I'm actually gonna dismantle this computer later and actually see what's going on with the memory stick itself.
Have you run a RAM test with some of the RAM testing programs? Because that'll tell you. And if you'll know you have bad memory because while that thing's running, and by the way, this will take 8 to 10 hours if I'm telling you to do the full test.
Oh, geez.
Mountain Sub RTC, this is CP 9738 East. We have completed our air test here at Stony Creek and we are ready to pull. Over. So basically, because the longest memory test is this one really complex zigzaggy kind of thing that is, well, basically if your memory is bad at any point and it stumbles upon a part of the bad memory sector, your computer will just blue screen during it, and you'll know you'll have to go through and test which stick is the one that's actually bad.
Yeah.
Alright, so
I remember Chris had to do that.
Is active. I think it was Shift R, reverser handle in. Put that in. Train brake we're gonna release. We do have a green signal for now. I'm getting this smooth 20 with the 44 right now. I was not expecting this.
That's good. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it looks really nice.
It really is. I definitely understand why you wouldn't want to do it. It doesn't fit what you wanted to do with TS.
I mean, maybe if we had like a CSX or European one, and yes, I know Searchlight has plans for other roads, yes, I know.
It seems like whatever issues I had with it last night have been fixed. There was a problem where like the front CP letters were black or like gray, and now it's not doing that. Oh, it has to do with the way the lighting is. That's right, I have to turn certain lighting effects on. Shadow casting should be on. Let me type the other ones. I even tagged Woody just to see if he would, I hope Z can...
actually test it himself?
Well, yeah, because he's been having texture issues. His looks like L-Tech spray painted it in charcoal.
Oh, if it's black, that means he's running. in his TS.
He's running it in what?
His TS is running out of memory.
Oh. Well, that's when he launches it.
Really?
That's not, head and rear light night casting toggle L, and I need control L. So I need to turn both those on. Alright, so I got those. Should be all set to move. Alright, let's get this thing moving. Alright. Right, Pontiac. 90 loads, 0 MPs, 1.96 HPT.
How much?
1.96 HPT.
I'm just gonna round that up to. I'm just gonna round it up to 2.
Yeah. That's one thing I found with this unit. The engine is always set to isolate by default, from what I found.
That's what their enhancements are usually set to, as far as I'm. I mean, I don't have any of them, but my friends that actually have it have mentioned it to me.
Alright, is it gonna load now? Yep, there we go, now it's loading. Well, most of all the circuit breakers when I boot this up are on by default, except for generator field, which I think is, I don't have my NORAC thing with me, but I think that's a real thing. I think as long as an engine is tied down for any period of time to generate, yeah, the generator field, according to NORAC, has to be turned, well, this is not NORAC, but this is same thing. The generator field has to be off as long as the locomotive is not being moved or is, you know, is going to be idle for a period of time where it's going to be left unattended.
No wonder why freestyle you have to shut off the gen field, which I don't even understand why anyway. But
you know, as I'm looking at this, let me look at it on screen.
I'm not going to question it.
Let me go look at my Chrome. For some reason, this is the strangest part. Restream chat app, I think it's no longer being supported as of this week or something, won't let me log into it. I'm like, alright, here's the proper account, here's the proper password, nothing happens. It's like, nope, it's wrong. And then I go to put it in on the website, it's like, oh no, it's right. I think I have to upgrade the chat app. They said they're dropping support for the original.
That's a massive F.
That's whatever. I will say this, let me check how woofer it up. Right, now my woofer is all the way up. I'll say, one thing Woody was saying, and he talked to me about this during the SW1000R stream, was that TSW doesn't really have the good cab shake, and like the 1000R is supposed to shake like nuts, and like it's supposed to, like, there is a rattle
sound.
Feel
like you're falling apart.
Yeah, like it's, and as someone who's been on, well, I was looking at my stream a while ago, I'm an idiot, it was not an SW5, it was SW7, the CV one, you feel that the whole time, the whole metal, sheet metal everywhere, well not, sheet metal, no, all the metal on it is rattling all over the place. It doesn't necessarily feel like you're going to fall apart because you've never had the thing at notch 8, but switching with it, but... The only thing I haven't done, and I have to read the full manual from like back to back for this, I couldn't get the IFD like buttons to do anything the other day. I couldn't like set anything up.
I see.
Which, you know, it's whatever. The EOT at least works. Apparently I talked with Woody because I was having this issue when I was charging the air. They added, this is kind of cool actually, because it can screw up your scenarios, there's a random failure chance for the EOT to just lose connection with the train.
Oh, nice.
Which I'm honestly kind of excited for, because I had it happen while I was like trying to release the brakes. I also took a look at the Gothard Bond stream the other day. It seems like it's a pretty nice route. They did it in a short time, too.
Yeah. From what I heard, the route is, because I was actually in a conversation on another Discord with a guy who was actually asking me for pretty much any information that I had in regards to train consist. So I was going through my Czechoslovakian website that I know has switch train set consists. And while we were talking about the route, from what I've heard, the route itself is nice. The rolling stock looks nice, although the RE460 supposedly has default BR101 sounds, but then again, I really can't blame them because it's kind of what they did with the friggin'...
I mean, are the sounds necessarily that much different on the two units, or?
I've never heard what an RE460 sounds like, though. That's the thing.
There you go.
My assumption is, I mean, I want to say, because then again, I assume I said Lombardi.
So I'm descending right now.
Because the BR101s were built by Adtrans, which is now Bombardier anyway. Well, yeah, technically it is Bombardier.
I can put it in dynamics now. Wait for setup. Put it at B3, see if that holds it. A little more.
Hello?
Hi,
Pick up, sir.
And
I'm just watching.
Yeah, Jonah, in theory, I can see why, because the RE460s were built by a combination, a handful of builders. I don't feel like naming, but one of them was a predecessor to Adtrans.
Speaking of British trains, I'm watching the Scottish Railways in the 1960s.
You're still watching that?
Look, I am completely screwed when it comes to motive power because I don't know what's authentic for the region other than BR standard stuff and LMS stuff. I mean,
don't look at that.
You still got northeastern region Pacifics, A3s to B2s, A4s showing up, the P2s, the 282s, and later rebuilt to Peppercorn A1/2 design for showing up on the northeastern interregional trains. You still had most of LMS's feeder lines fanning out of Glasgow, Inverness and Perth especially, and don't even get me started about getting to Blackpool.
I will say this, I don't know if it has to do with the 4400, or if it's just how TS does it. This can't be how TS does it. The way the dynamic brakes work in, the Run 8's Chivos and, the 4400 and this, the load times are drastically different in terms of dynamic braking.
What, I know
Run 8's dynamic brakes load up insanely fast. Almost
TS, they usually take longer.
Yeah, I'm seeing that, but this is they're loading up.
What's more prototypical?
I think it's operator emergency to recover move handles on that thing. Hold on.
I've still got a bone to pick with this. I still got a bone to pick when it comes to that activation. That's got to violate something.
I wouldn't talk about it right now.
Here's the thing. I took a look at it. It's nothing. Here's what you do. Oh, so I put in ECS apparently. So that's the one thing. This is my fault because I'm not using the rail driver. Is TS says emergency brake is 100%. 100% to me, as far as I'm concerned, is suppression.
I thought 100% was all active brakes on, besides dynamic.
The problem is
in TS logic,
emergency is 100% braking force. The problem is, in MST, you could have 100%. It went up to 100% application, suppression, continuous service, emergency. At least that's how it was for most of the GEs. In TS, the problem is I'm using the stupid Fisher-Price HUD, which I need to turn off.
Well, here's something else I want to know, because apparently after, I want to say the third Cajon derailment, apparently it's mandated that the dynamic brake for U.S. trains is always able to be used even when you're in emergency braking.
Keep handling emergency for 60 seconds.
How is that possible?
basically what would happen when you went full emergency on a freight train in North America, all you had was the emergency brakes. You lost the dynamic.
The Cella 1A.
Well, I get
Good
that.
afternoon. How
The
you guys
dynamic
with the
was
new
cut
asset?
out. When you went into emergency, the dynamic was cut out. Now you can go into emergency, but you still have your dynamic.
Yeah. Acela, it's so far so good. I got to test a little bit less, and there's 4 people watching. Zashun Harris, did you love train? Can you use the mouse? Yeah, I am using the mouse for most of the controls. Some of it's keyboard. And Rail Driver, I'll be doing in a later test after work tonight, or tomorrow if I have time. My work life schedule is very hectic right now.
Speaking of Rail Drivers, those things are still $300 a pop.
No,
I don't even know.
not according to the Walther's catalog. It's $179 there. To recover.
I don't even know, because I got mine as a Christmas gift a few years ago.
Yeah,
so
but
now,
I mean, I'm at $200 to $300 for something you can only use for railway games. I'm not sure if I want to bite that bullet. As much as I do train simulators, but then again, that's kind of like me buying a flight stick. I bought that for World of Warplanes, and I never used it. I'm still mouse and keyboard.
Let's charge the air.
I gotta find that guy I was talking to earlier.
Alright, so I'm glad I put it in emergency because networks. Also, are you guys gonna stream the Caltrain DLC for TSW when it comes out, SL1A? Yeah, I do plan to get it because it's one of those few DLCs where I actually, because there's a couple DLCs I haven't gotten, MSB and is MSB the only one that I hadn't gotten?
Hey, Jonah. You know what? I'd like to see you review. I'd like you to review the thing you received, just to see how you'd go about it.
Oh, Trains 2019.
Yeah, I'd like to see how you. That'd be.
I should review that. I really should. So we have 5 people. So it's not as big as. How many people did I have watching the 1000R stream? I think I had like 25, 28 people watching that.
So when did the stream? When did the stream start, or did I just come in? I
started it like 20 minutes ago. I haven't had enough time.
I saw that you were doing it when I was pretty much leaving the beach.
So CMP has. What the hell happened here?
Well, I thought you were gonna say what happened to.
Mind you, this is a fresh install of This is a okay clean install of 19. I have no bridge at CMP right now.
Is your scenery density turned up to the max?
I have no idea. Do I have to have it turned up to the max in order for the game to...
I have to go through my mail. A certain manga just arrived.
Do I have... Wait. Do I have to have scenery density turned up to have a bridge load?
No, my board of electricity came back.
That can't be... There's no way. Okay, anyone in the chat who has TS19, is this scenery density thing like a real thing? Do I really have to have the scenery density up the entire time?
I mean, it really depends, because some objects will show up, some objects won't show up unless it's on max, and some will.
But like an entire bridge?
I guess.
An entire bridge that you drive under. I'm sorry. I'm on medium settings. What is... Like, I could understand 3D Railroad Master doing this in 1998. I could understand MSTS doing this in 2001 with the bare minimum settings with the worst graphics card in the world. TS19, we are in the year 2019. This is not... So
no
brakes
bueno.
are charged. Rear is not charged.
Just do a class 3.
Oh. Yeah, Constar, I'm gonna have to do some reading in a few, because what I just got in the mail looks really friggin' good.
Hey, I could PM you a manga that would ruin your. You know the kind of manga I can find. You know exactly what I can find.
We'll save that conversation for another time.
Let's see if I can stretch them with this. EOT is
I could ruin I could ruin all manga for you in just one click.
Trip optimizer unavailable. I don't even remember if that works.
Constar, if you want to do that, I recommend getting in contact with MJV, because Well, he understood the reference on my unit on the server yesterday.
He did.
Yeah.
That's
first,
Here is it 40.
But first, let me just send Rebel something.
So the EOT is pretty
God.
realistic, so is it just me, or are 4400s not equipped with quick release like the Gevos?
No, I don't think that became a function till later.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean,
what was interesting on some of the pictures, Caltrain DLC, the trains have train run numbers on the train mirrors. Well, not exactly passenger information systems. Better than nothing. Also seems that the scenery density thing happens on some of the just trains routes. Well, isn't CMP Dovetail, Matt? Or was that third party?
Wait, what?
Canadian Mountain Passes, was that third party, or was that
I want to say it was done by Milepost Simulations. Give me a minute.
Okay.
Because remember, I don't have the route.
Yeah, no. I put it on my CC last night in order to get it while I was at work.
Hey, Jonah, are you remote controlling your PC from work?
I tried for a Run 8 server thing. The problem with that was...
it's a Milepost route. Came out Valentine's Day 2014, according to Steam. So it's
an old route.
It's an older route, but not old.
What's that one weird route for Train Simulator that has you going through a rail/road bridge?
That one's been... I think it's
still waiting for it to charge. I knew this was going to happen with this stream. I knew if I went into emergency or if I put the brakes on with this thing, I'd never get it moving again. But that's more or less the fault.
I thought it was the Alaska Railroad one.
I don't have that, so I wouldn't be able to tell you. That's also a Milepost route.
Is that really Milepost? I've heard good things about the... I've heard mixed reviews on that one, that sometimes the scenery feels terribly unfinished and sometimes looks alright.
I've heard... From what I've heard, most of Milepost stuff is not the best, with the exception of the West Highland Line South, which is actually decent.
I mean, are they an American developer, or are they...
If I'm correct, they are British. Let me get back to you on that in about 30 seconds.
Okay, so this is interesting that Searchlight's doing this. So the F5 HUD doesn't correspond in a necessarily unique way.
Some other DLCs do that.
Well,
I have.
like
I don't remember which ones.
I have the train brake in release, but the train brake still says 25% graduated self-lap. So it's relying on, I get it now, it's relying on the EOT to tell me on the F5 monitor what I should be seeing. Okay. And then the other thing, and this might be me being used to Run 8, or this might be a TS issue, or the fact that it's transferring data through a USB cord to an external hard drive. But the HUD on the IFD lags a little bit. Like, I'll put the throttle and it'll take a second or two before it shows up on the screen. It might be just because I'm used to MSTS and Run 8. So far I haven't had any issues with this. I'm glad that the emergency brake system, I mean, this is the most realistic it's taken for me to have a train release. I mean, mostly in Run 8 I use the air brake cheap, because when I want to run, I don't want to wait 35 minutes to move. But this feels...
very long island to me.
What is my limit right now? 25.
Yeah, Milepost Simulations is based in the UK.
And they're making Canadian routes.
According to their website, it says, based in the UK with a strong interest in North American Railroad.
Huh. That's odd, because whereas Prada, who's part of Jointed Rail, makes a lot of Russian or Eastern European content, but knocked it out of the park.
SRS has that African locomotive. Or is it African?
I mean, then you have me, the guy from Long Island that can practically find any diagram, well, not any diagram, but most diagrams for the and then the entire railway diagrams.
And then the best steam era route for trains was not made. The best U.S. era steam era route was not made by an American, but by I think it was Iskrens, who's a German guy.
Wait, do you mean for
John,
TS or do you
yeah.
mean for which sim?
For trains, and it was never released. I don't know what happened to it.
What
It was
about Donner
called
Pass? I've never even from Trains Italia.
Donner Pass
Okay.
is the Steam era. It's Diesel era. I said Steam.
Is it?
Yeah, it's Diesel era. They got the double
Fine.
track.
Okay, so I'll tell you this right now. Pretty much every one of Milepost Simulations products are on Steam, with the exception of the Fraser and Caribou.
Ranger and Caribou.
Yep, which is a BC version.
Yeah, so I see why they said these activities are challenging, because you don't actually, I think, have enough dynamic brake power for downhill with these. So you really do have to manage air. Well, I mean, you do, but you have to have the air on, otherwise it won't work. Like CMP I'm looking at right now, if anyone from Milepost is watching, I hate to break it, but so far the route hasn't looked that stellar. Again, that's just me.
I don't know, let's see. Fraser and Caribou for $26. 70-mile route between Lillooet and they don't say.
Wait a minute.
It's on the BC rail one.
Yeah, it seems like people aren't exactly interested in this stream, so.
Really?
I got between two, well now it's two, it was 4 people. And I'm not watching myself, so otherwise it would add an extra person. Because YouTube for some reason counts.
I'm not watching it.
I'm not. I'm just doing a...
The alerter is the least annoying I've ever heard in a sim.
Would you prefer an annoying one? I mean, we can range that.
Well, I mean, this one could be annoying if you're really not thinking about it, but it's not as screechy as the Run 8 GE one or the Microsoft. The Microsoft Train Simulator one was almost violent.
No.
If you weren't paying attention, that would give you a heart attack.
No. The one that I'm most scared of, freaking ones in train sim when I used to run British routes. I hated those things. I always get AWS at the wrong possible moment.
Well, I'm holding the speed for the right
To give you an
way.
idea on how old this site is, though, it looks like it was last time.
Now,
One DLC.
I don't know if it's dynamic lighting or something, but there's very, like, the lighting on the side of the train seems wrong for the 4400, because, like, it should be white text. The text should be white, and it is white. But for right now, it doesn't, it's not in this, and I'm wondering if it's because I'm on medium settings, but I had some of this issue on custom settings the other day. I think it might just be that the TS19 engine is ancient, and it's not gonna...
It's not gonna
well, the problem is, Consar, they're building off framework from 2007 and expecting it to hold up to the requirements of today. And you can't... It did put me in emergency. Move handle to suppression. Did I put it in suppression? Handle to suppression. Alright. It is set to suppression.
Yeah. So in terms of, based on what I'm looking at, Canadian Mountain Pass is the West Highland Line South, and the Clear Creek Narrow Gauge are them, which were their three oldest routes that they released. They have pretty positive reviews. Raton Pass has a mixed. So, and then
they did Raton Pass.
Yeah, they're the ones who did the Raton route, and that one's actually mixed reviews.
There is one unfortunate thing I have with TS.
They've also assisted with the racetrack.
There's one unfortunate issue I have with TS that MSTS did right, and no other sim has done correct since.
What's that?
If you have the alert, say you're outside and you have the F5 HUD on in MSTS. If the alerter is triggered, there's purple text that appears next to the red text that says alerter / emergency / penalty brake light. That gives you enough time to hit the alerter. Now, I get that's not realistic, but for people that are trying to do things outside, especially in a game like, I mean, I know you can on top of the dated engine, TSX is at this point. It didn't help that there was not much innovation when DTG took over the franchise, with the exception of TSW, although there were still many problems with it. Yeah, I mean, my problem is, like, I understand, there's people that have complained to me about this when I ask certain things like explore route mode for TSW, like, Yuri, that's not realistic. There's a fine line between realism and fun, and if you have to go full realism without being able to have any fun with your sim,
you mean like Run 8?
You shouldn't. Well, no, because Run 8 allows you to have some fun. The thing is, you can still be silly about it in Run 8. The thing is, some people want a sim that is just the same kind of simulator that they use for training real engineers, and if you want that, go work for a real railroad. Don't try and get something that you want to sell to a general consumer or railroad enthusiast, because they still want to have a bit of fun with it. I like doing things professionally in Run 8, but like the alerter thing just annoys me because it's one of those things where I understand I have to be, while driving Searchlight's engine, I'm sure this is what they want, you have to be really vigilant, and I completely understand it. But this would be a nice little thing that I wish Dovetail would add, especially for those engines, especially for some of the UK and German engines that have SIFA.
German engines.
SIFA and PZB, everyone's like, oh, they're so easy to deal with. But what?
No, they're not.
Actually, I'm gonna beg to differ, because I know what I'm doing, surprisingly.
I've turned PZB off and SIFA off on the 182 because, well, one, I didn't want to spend time learning it, because everyone likes to talk about magnets more than actual physicists.
Well, that's what PZB is!
I understand it's what PZB
Everything is a magnet. If my computer was actually cooperative, I would do a friggin' string.
I will. Okay, so this is a lighting glitch with TS. Is like it's because I don't have dynamic lighting turned on. I think because on the left side of the engine, Canadian Pacific and all the logo and stuff are the proper color, but everything's a much dimmer color without any real reason on the right side. I think
that might be a dynamic lighting thing, because
I'll have to adjust that.
And the only reason why I'm saying it might be is because I remember back in the day when I had no dynamic lighting off, I downloaded a reskin that heavily used decals, and they were meant to be used with dynamic lighting. So they showed up in this horrendous shade of, I don't even remember what it was. It was a horrendous dim shade of what it was supposed to be.
Let's put it in setup. Yeah, the dynamics are like. And again, this is one of those things where let's put dynamics in full for when it charges up. Yeah, there's something with the dynamics where it just doesn't really want to. I mean, the air brakes are very responsive. I mean, they're extremely responsive, actually. Oh no, they do have a quick release. They do have a quick release. It seems to work very strangely, somewhat. It's my grade, still descending. Again, this is a stream that's probably only going to go on for 30 more minutes, and I'll have to cut it off for work. I wanted to go to the full scenario, but I won't be able to. Yeah, there's a lot of details, just like embankments and stuff, and just a whole lot of stuff that's missing on this route that I feel like has to do with my settings, but I will say this, Searchlight said that it takes a lot of CPU for this.
They were kidding.
And it does, but I'm holding in between 18 and 20 frames per second. That's pretty good for an engine of this caliber. Even though I have a GTX 1050 Ti, it's not really like TS can take much advantage of that.
No, I'll tell you. Actually, John, how long is scenarios by chance?
The closest we ever got in TSX to some of the just trains with the alerter was adding the alerter sounds while outside the train that can also be heard in passenger interior views. That's an interesting thing.
I swear to God, it's like that in TSW on Great Western Express.
Is it?
I swear to God.
I don't think I've ever had AWS on.
Yeah, I'd say turn it on and see what
I
happens.
can't expect both of you two to be
You
here.
are not allowed here. Get out. Not really kidding.
You can't disconnect me, so ha ha ha.
I know, and you can't disconnect me, so.
So we're even.
See, the problem with this thing is, unlike the TSW one, where like everyone was actually actively waiting for this, I didn't have enough time to really stream it last night, so now people are not getting the notifications. Like, I can't do an at everyone here. That's kind of fun.
Yeah.
David just responded about the 17,000 foot pool, which is fun.
Really?
Yeah, he's like, well, nice. Which is you're getting the remaining 10,000 feet up tomorrow. John knows you're not corrupted.
Matt, did you tell Z what was going on? What you think is going on with the Searchlight Simulator?
Yeah, let me guess. They said your TS is out of member?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I have a $35 paperweight.
As usual.
No, you can still run it. It'll just look terrible.
That does not look good on photos.
You can make it an oil spill.
Oh.
Here's what you can do. You can make all of the textures a very low resolution.
You know, it's surprising. Like, a lot of people want to ride the kiddie train here at the museum.
I mean,
You're at the museum right
wait,
now?
are you testing it on your laptop or the desktop that can barely run anything?
The laptop.
It's surprising that it would do the memory issue because you can run. Wait, what do you run Farm Sim 19 on graphics wise?
Hi.
What do you run TSW on?
Hi.
I see. Then it's a TS memory management issue is what it is.
Sorry, your TS on your computer school, or not your computer.
Mm-hmm. There is a southbound coming, but I'm not going to go on that.
I've looked more into the manual. I don't think I read about this. It seems like there's a bail off thing that's happening because every once in a while I have to, and this is while just running. I don't know if it's because of the overspeed system, but every once in a while the locomotive brake is like the brake cylinder goes all the way up to 72, and I have to bail it off while I'm running. The manual seems pretty good. The one thing that was unfortunate for me, and it looks like Searchlight took care of that because I don't think you can do this in the game, is you can't arm and de-arm and set up an EOT. It's either the EOT is there or it's not.
But luckily for us, we didn't have to pay the admission fee.
For what? I know that's a real horn that they recorded, but this is the strangest thing. It sounds...
Let's look in the gift shop.
I swear that the original Rail Simulator Chivo horn sounds really similar to this K3 L that's on the 4400. I'm not saying that it's copied, but it seems like whatever the one was from Rail Simulator might have been a real one that they synthesized or something. Because if this is the real recording I'm hearing from Searchlight, then maybe Kuju did something right with Rail Simulator. I shouldn't say that because that means I'm giving them too much credit. But the brakes are responsive. It's just the dynamics that are not. Don't give DTG any ideas for paying for features or having a DLC price for it. The only quality trains content that I've been enjoying with passenger tier interactions such as opening and closing luggage racks, window shades, table trays, etc. was from an independent third-party dev from Indonesia called Vinesoft. It seems that some of the international third-party devs surpass third-party US devs on the train side of things on the rolling stock side. Yeah, I'll bite. I'll believe that.
And the wires down on the East Coast main line again.
I mean, the dynamics are working, but I feel like... I think this is why they added rail driver support, is because it's very... I guess this is a real thing. I guess it really is a notchless... the handle really is notchless in the dynamic mode. I always thought it was notched. Like, I guess not. So kudos to Dovetail for that.
Sorry, I'm not paying attention. I'm getting ready to beat the shit out of somebody, but
I would almost port this horn to Train Sim World, but I don't think, I'm not sure how well it would go. What's my AI? Passing a grain train.
Grain train. And again, it's always a pain in the ass to try and build like a 7,000-foot train in TS because of how unstable it is when you try to leave it on the damn track.
So as far as I can tell, wait, when you do something with the when you put the GE decals on, you have to pay some sort of royalty, right?
I have no idea.
Well, because Dovetail doesn't have GE logos on their 4400. Nexo had to add them with the Train Sim mod. Like the actual spot where the logo should be, like the little documentation stuff was there, and the circle for the GE logo was there, but it wasn't actually there. I don't know why.
There we go. I couldn't unmute my mic.
Well, I get why it's
So,
saying the 72. Because I am actually
but no.
bailing off.
But no, I get, like, with the locomotive, I get, like, 16 FPS, 14 FPS.
Does it show bad textures immediately when you boot it?
Yes.
What if you put it on the lowest settings?
I'll try that when I get home from the museum, but I don't know.
If you're running on high, I would imagine... Because I'm running it on medium. I had it on some weird custom settings yesterday, but I put it on medium now, and it's still doing it. I mean, granted, I have more RAM than you, unfortunately. I have 8 with this, so...
No, I have 16 gigabytes.
And you're running it in 64-bit mode, so...
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Am I just sending the grade finally? Yeah. You can almost turn dynamics off a bit. The unit itself looks very nice, and normally I wouldn't spend this much on an add-on at all for a single locomotive, but considering a lot of features and just the realism, the fact that I now actually own the route, I mean, it seems alright.
Yep, there goes the museum train.
Which museum are you at again? The one you streamed like a couple months ago?
The one that Logan works at, or volunteers at.
What was that one? Kentucky or something?
Southeastern Railway Museum.
Southeastern. I think I have that in my railway museums book. I can't remember where I put it.
I'm just gonna...
The museum train's
I'm
the
just gonna walk over
caboose
to the other side, because I'd rather be on the other side.
The problem in this natural habitat. Oh, that's what I was gonna say to John.
Yeah, I think it's a route density issue, man. I'm missing features left and right in this route. This looks terrible.
Oh dear.
Come on. Should I go on the
windows? No, you can't.
I wonder if I can get the other side. I don't know which side to do it on.
They actually made it so the chairs spring like they're supposed to. I didn't know they had like cushions on them. like the cushioning system.
Apparently, this train's at Duluth. Yay.
These don't have
Have to-
cab signaling, so there's that.
Actually, no, Matt.
What?
The perfect nickname for those C6Ms. Trash 9 rebuilds.
And keep the chat thing open. Let me look around and read some of the things on here. There's a rail cleaner thing on this. I don't know if you knew about that, Z.
Oh, there is?
Yeah, so say your train's been sitting there for a long time, you got snow around the wheels now. So if you try to move, you're gonna slip immediately.
Yeah.
It's right near the sander valve, basically. It shoots giant compressed air to blow the snow out of the way. Which I've never heard of before. This is the first time I'm hearing about this, but I guess it's a toggle that works. Obviously I don't think it works too well in TS, because snow is kind of just a passive thing. I'll say this, a lot of the little notes and stuff in the cab are highly legible. MU
Really?
engine emergency. MU
Hello, guys.
engine emergency shutdown. There's one thing that works that doesn't work in TS.
Hmm?
What?
Attendant call.
What?
Oh, I'm sorry, you mean the conductor wake up button?
Attendant call is basically, it's like a buzzer. So if there's someone on the crew and you're like in the shop or something, it'll ring a bell on the outside and inside of the engine, like a little buzzer bell to let people know you're moving, I guess, in case the actual bell is in. I don't know the real purpose, but I believe it's a shop-based thing. It has to coincide with, what does that coincide with? I think it coincides, it's used alongside the,
I believe that's called the hey wake up button.
yeah, basically.
Hey, wake up.
Solo 1A, what are the chances of success for the Caltrain DLC for TSW in your opinion? I'm glad you've asked that. I have interesting hopes for it.
Okay.
I'm actually interested myself, and usually I don't care.
The fact that they're doing
TSW.
something that I've been waiting for them to do with the DLC since NEC, because it feels like a full package now. It's not only am I getting commuter rail, but I'm actually getting freight operations again, and better freight operations where it's not just between Fresh Pond, Harlem Terminal. It's not. There's more. It seems like there's more to it. There's going to be more interaction. It's not like two isolated operations like on NEC.
I have high hopes on it. I mean, like what Jonah said, it looks good. It has tons of like more things to do instead of like, oh, you gotta run a commuter train. My only spiel for it, I guess, my only thing I hope they do is actually do express runs.
Well, according to Pecoraro, they're supposed to be doing, and Paddleton, they're supposed to be doing the full timetable, which will be quite interesting without the baby board equipment, but hey, I don't mind enough.
I'm also excited that we're gonna. I'm also excited. I hope it comes with this DLC is the Dispatcher 2.0 system that fixes the cab car glitch. Because he said, I talked to him on the stream he did the other day, and he said that's fixed.
Hey guys,
I don't know
I have
if
a
it's
joke.
fixed
I have a
in
joke
NEC.
for you.
I don't know if it's fixed in NEC,
No,
but it's
I have a
fixed
joke.
in Caltrain.
I have a joke for y'all. How do y'all know that a train has a GE on the point?
You see a friggin' fireball from 5 miles away.
No, you can hear it from a mile away.
There you
That's
go.
an Alco, Zay, not a GE.
What
Alco-
bug was there in the game?
The Alco.
Who joined me?
You can see a fireball from like 10 miles
Oh,
away.
Mika.
You got like 2 people that joined you.
Mika, log it. Hey guys. So far, it's going well. I'm not getting 30 FPS, but I wasn't expecting to.
Oh boy, here comes the southbound with junk power.
What are you even talking about?
My
This
friend's
LP5.
over at the Southeastern Railing
Don't mind in Deutsche Bahn over there. He's friggin' out at Homeland.
Casella 1A, at least we get a better start point in San Francisco to San Jose with both commuter and freight operations. Though if it is truly the accurate schedule, that would be
Does anyone have
96
screen share on, or where does the noise come from?
I do not have screen share on.
That's his phone picking up the train going past.
That's his phone,
Oh, okay.
unfortunately.
Like I was lying.
Casella 1A, at least we get a better start point in San Francisco to San Jose with both commuter and freight operations. Though if it is truly the accurate schedule, that would be 96 services, not counting from the yard on the Caltrain schedule. That's all right.
There's only last I checked, there's only 86, not 96.
Huh.
And
Where
if
were those
anything,
Canadian trains
no,
come
and if
Well,
anything, when I
the
looked
thing
at
is, what
schedule,
year are they modeling it after? Is my question.
there was only 90
Well,
at its maximum extent anyway.
Well, with
maybe the-
F40s there, I'm thinking it's gonna be semi-modern.
Well, here's my thing. Are the maybe the other 6 services are to and from the yard?
Well, here the only thing that I would have to expect, because besides the facility down at San Jose, I don't know where else they store their crap. The only thing that I've had to notice, they have to at least leave 3 train sets overnight at San Francisco because the fourth south end of the day can turn right off of the first north end of the day. Anything else, they have to leave overnight because they wouldn't have any equipment to start.
Yeah, I'm definitely behind on the scenario because I'm looking what the radio chatter stuff is supposed to be, and I'm definitely a good 10 minutes behind what it should be. Am I clear for 30? I am.
And that's also, I'm actually going to call that radio chatter a flaw, because if
They
you're
do
behind
have,
and you're hearing wrong stuff, it should be set up to where it is not based on a time.
Hey,
I'm not sure. Well, it just said good luck on the PK check, and the train that I passed was about 10 minutes ago.
Precision scheduled railroading, turning a manifest into a coal train.
How is that precision?
Because this train had a majority of its cars were coal cars.
Empty or loaded?
Loaded.
Oregon
What?
building railfan. Cool, I bought this morning and I loved it. Well, I'm glad to hear it. That's why I'm reviewing it.
Well, no.
What's your name, Zach?
Well, no.
Rental?
No, literally. What?
Nice to meet you, by the way.
Nice to meet you too. But no, well, no. They literally, it was like a majority of the train, the best guns, and top full coal. Precision scheduled railroading. Precision scheduled railroading.
Of course the alerter caught me. That's all right.
Just another day between me and Zoe.
I knew it was going to do that. I knew it. This is why you can't ever look around in TS. It's actually why I permanently disabled
Or they do an AP, or they do an Armstrong powerhouse and do left control numpad enter, and you get visuals.
Well, well, it's like Repo is E33 because it uses such old cab signaling. I permanently disabled the alerter from whenever I run it because most of the
How do you
routes that
disable D?
it's like Control D or something, and you hold and it gives you a window that says, "Oh, cab signaling disabled."
Well,
Because if you're on a route that if you're on any of the NEC routes, the E33 will respond to that cab signaling, and it'll just completely destroy you, basically. Move handle to suppression. It should be in suppression right now.
Hey yo, I was browsing at the some kind of Red River Main Line. It's a KCS and Union Pacific train tracks that it heads up to Shreveport.
There we go. It's in suppression. Hold suppression for 10 seconds.
And Mario.
That's a no one.
Or Magi.
There we go.
So yeah,
Alright.
that's it.
Wait, who's asking?
Loggy's asking you a question.
What's up?
So, I got some trains came through our town. It's called Natchitoches, Louisiana.
Oh, you did. What, NS
Yep.
or
Okay.
Union Pacific.
Oh, I missed the train.
Union
That's the
Pacific?
museum.
Yep.
UP
Nice.
doing all the way out there.
It's
UP
in
took over the
central
former
Louisiana.
UP took over the former Southern Pacific operations. What'd you expect?
No,
Actually, it was a former
He's busy
Texas
today.
Pacific Railroad in Louisiana.
oh god, don't let Morgan hear that.
You mean Texas and New Orleans Pacific, or just Texas Pacific?
Oh, they're doing two. They're doing
Texas
two.
Pacific.
Okay.
Okay, then that's MoPac affiliated.
Right now, in like the early '90s, like the Union Pacific now it goes. Hang on, it's gonna go up to Shreveport, Alexandria, across Natchitoches.
Oh, it's really busy today.
So it's like a large town. It has a history town of the university they have, and you see the railroad tracks across the university and the neighborhood.
What how's the graphs going? Okay.
Yeah, amps
Let's
do
go check it.
recharge slow on this. That's alright.
It's like a 25-mile-per-hour track, a train track.
I feel nice. Well, I mean, no, it's GE. It's a GE, stuff loads slowly.
At least the
Yeah,
doors
it's
are a bit more
it's
responsive
just
than
like
Run A.
Union Pacific trains, they make it a switch.
I also wonder if PTG will go back to the TSW Caltrain route down the line and add an extension to Gilroy with which will either have users that pay for the route have to purchase a new standalone route included, or the users that purchase the route. Well, given the fact that they can't really do route extensions without repacking the entire original route, that begs a good question, but I unfortunately don't have an
Yeah.
answer for it.
I mean, that gives a good question, actually.
I don't think they would.
I think
for
it's too early to
console
consider a
users.
route extension because this isn't like it's because they're bound by the way Steam sells things, they couldn't really do it.
Well, okay,
What
hold
are the
on.
route suggestions you want to see?
You would have to basically re-release a DLC as a new product and thereby remove the original one from the Steam store. But that would then
Well, okay.
also screw up TSW's internal DLC database.
So, Matt G,
Uh,
what route suggestion you want to see?
something that I can go and literally destroy and say it's all wrong if it's wrong.
No, like, what route you want to see?
I don't know.
I know what I want to see.
You want to see your area?
No.
No, not that. That's about in Oklahoma. What's the Union Pacific trains like?
I want to see like
I want to see somebody finish off do the Atlanta North Ready Simulator.
Z, stop foaming.
Yeah,
Well, I
Atlanta
mean, well, no. If VRC gave up, let somebody else finish it.
You know what I want.
I mean, but who's going to take VRC's place? Repo?
Bro,
Probably.
I want to see the former Richmond. I want to see the
What's
former RF and P.
How long has it been since Repo's made a friggin' route anyway? Except for route. It's not friggin'
I didn't even know
locomotive.
Repo made routes. I thought he only did
No,
engines.
I meant to say locomotive.
Locomotive.
Yeah.
The last locomotive he did, he said, Dovetail said he had some input with the G40-2 pack, but I'm not really seeing where that input came from because it's not an advanced startup engine. And that's what he's well known
I
for.
want to see the former Texas Pacific Railroad, the ones that are in the Shreveport area.
Oh, there.
I'll tell you this, based on, and this is my standpoint, because I deal with a lot of idiots on a daily basis from various communities.
Okay. I don't know.
Given the stance of some people, of pretty much most of the people, the only way people are gonna not complain about a new route is if is if they do something between 2000 and now, because if they do another backdated route, everyone's gonna have a hissy fit. If they do a modern route, people still have a hissy fit anyway, because no one can friggin' accept the fact that, hey, we're building this.
From routes and Unreal, the constraint in theory is time, from what Matt said, which is, yeah, I mean, that's true. I mean, like, that's always how it's been for routes. I mean, running studios, most people are like, well, why did LA take so long if Dovetail did Surfliner faster? Because it took 4 years to develop, and it was doing a lot of trackers that Dovetail didn't do. And LA changed it. John Greenstone basically said with Run 8's LA DLC, you had to pick a very specific day and time to model LA because things changed almost like each day with the track work. Routes take a long time. I mean, how long did Cajon take for Run 8? Cajon took one to 2 years. Waycross
when I came into Run 8, Selkirk was released, I think, a week after I got.
Selkirk was very rushed. It was not a good route. Originally, I liked Selkirk. I liked Selkirk a lot. It's just the detail-wise, it didn't. There was a lot of stuff that just felt. There was a lot of stuff. There was track that just.
Selkirk.
There was a reason the update for it was so drastic compared to any of the other routes for V2, because pretty much the whole thing wasn't to scale in a lot of spots. Stuff had to be completely re-overhauled.
Of course.
I mean, route development, I mean, with Unreal, I don't even know. I mean, because the thing that most people say is that Run 8 and TSW have something common. They both technically have an editor built from the ground up. I know TSW technically has just a modified Unreal editor, but they still had to build the parts of it that they wanted using, you know... Am I speeding? No, I'm not.
Well, I mean, every train simulator has an editor built from the ground up. I don't think there's any train simulator out there that really uses a pre-made editor.
Trains?
No, well, I mean, Trains...
No, it's running its own engine as well.
No,
yeah, I mean... there aren't really any editor games out there, as far as I know, that have... I mean, 3D Railroad Master, look at that. It had its own program that was an editor. It was 3D Railroad, what was it? Was it 2D or 3D Railroad Concept and Design? I mean, even that was 1998. I mean, every editor game, as far as I know, that's been a train sim, you know, except for like Diesel Railcar Simulator. I mean, that technically uses, the editor for that technically uses the game itself and its Unity. But beyond that, most of them, you're right, are built.
So you're talking about the editor being a standalone program, or the editor being part of the game?
Yeah, I mean, because most games do have. I mean, MSTS. Most people are like, oh, the editor's separate. No.
Yes.
It's not. It's built into the engine. It's just you have to access it.
Yes. It just has startup comment.
It's a startup comment. It's just
quite shitty, so you just use TSRE5. But yeah.
No, somebody. Whoever said that each simulator uses their own program for it. I mean, trains, yeah. In the beginning, they made their own program thing for their editor, but then now it's just a reuse of that same program.
In trains, the editor is part of the main game.
It's just another. It's an extension of the main game engine. It is the game engine. It's an extension
of the main game. It is a game engine. Yes, it is a game engine. It used to be Orange Jet engine, now it's E2 engine.
Oh wow!
It is their own engine, in fact. I mean, Jet engine.
Take an E4 engine.
The Jet engine was. The problem was the Jet engine was really ambitious when it first came out, but it just.
The Jet engine was a general purpose engine. Yeah, it's been in some other games. The funny thing is, there's a game out there. Well, it's not a game. It's a program that lets you design a home. So essentially, it's just so you can test out. No, not like that. It's a program that they could use, for example, at IKEA, so you can try out how does that shelf look in my room, for example. Basically, that program uses Jet Engine, and the funny thing is that program has VR. So Jet Engine is technically capable of VR.
Problem is but is this a newer version of Jet Engine, like 32-bit? because 64-bit. I mean, because Jet never went beyond 32.
I don't really know. It's probably still 32-bit.
That would explain, because that was the reason why Jet was so bad. Is like people are like, why does it run well on Windows 8 or 10 or 764? Yeah. It's like because it can only use 3 gigs.
Couldn't keep up with Trains 2010 anymore. That's the problem. But that's why E2 engine is so much better, because it's 64-bit and can actually handle it.
I thought the engine they were using for Tane was E3.
No, it's E2. If you look in the games folder, it says E2.
E3 is an exhibition.
It's E2. E2 is basically like a new engine, but it has Jet compatibility, because that's the only reason why you can import older stuff.
Go rail.
It's basically a new engine. It's basically Trains is on a new engine, but it has like Jet support basically that they had to rewrite.
Yeah, pretty much.
Then what is 19?
19
is still E2 engine. It's a more advanced version of E2 engine. So Trains 19 is E2 engine with PBR shaders basically.
Yeah, but Trains 19 is E2, but they put colored duct tape around it.
Colored duct tape.
Mika.
Yes.
So I would love to like to see the CERN style like the U.S. certain U.S. train routes in Texas.
I will say this later.
Wait.
No. You want to know how I can crucify another TSW country?
Hmm. Do it.
What did you want to know from me?
2003. Let's friggin' go.
So here, let me. All right. Someone brought up an interesting.
We're in Texas.
Do the Sudolph bond. There you go. Have a nice day.
Here, where's the thing I found this commented about earlier. This was from this is from Kaz, Matt. So you'll know this. So someone he streams Run 8 all the time. Good guy. Yeah, he said, I'm reading through, this was yesterday when the 4400 got released. I'm reading through the manuals. I get the point. To make the most real, this is in regards to the 4400. To make the most realistic sim out there, they picked a bad sim to devolve for it, is what I'm saying. And $35 for one locomotive and 300 playable, in quote, scenarios, I can't see spending that much on, regardless of how much detail they put into it, or if it was for any other trains.
That's exactly right.
And he's right. I mean, it does kind of suck, because this is an engine that technically you can buy it and not have the route and it'll still work. You just have to put it into a scenario or hope that there's community scenarios. I get what he's saying. It's not like Run 8 where you can, like, when you install that DLC, you can put it on any route and just run right out of the box. You don't have to worry about having scenarios or anything. And I get what he's saying. Unfortunately, it's just that
I'm sorry, but if
Searchlight
I'm
says that Run 8 doesn't support third parties, but the problem is when Run 8 has said they've hired third parties, why has Searchlight, again, I haven't really talked to them about this. It seems like they did try to hook up with them at one point or something. I don't know what it is. I mean, they really should, if they really want to, work for Run 8, show them, as I say, show them what you got.
Hopefully Run 8 doesn't hire Max Stevens.
Well, if Run 8 really wanted good sound and like really good simulation stuff, I feel like they would hire Searchlight, but I feel like it's either that Searchlight doesn't have
what it comes down to is that Run 8 still primarily wants money, just like everyone else on this planet.
Well, not so much.
I'll say that there's a lot of things with Run 8 that we can't even say on stream that's wrong with them.
Yeah. I mean, I'll say,
so
this is what I'll say from what the lead programmer has said himself publicly. He's put himself in the line of fire a lot for this. Is he said, because he's aware that the early versions of Run 8 DLC used to be pirated, it wasn't DRM. And he's like, listen, when someone asked once, like, I didn't know how to get my purchases back, so I did torrent. And he was like, this is the kind of shit that we don't like. He's like, we're not getting rich off this, off making this sim. This is stuff this is our passion. We're not making massive bank like the way Dovetail is with their DLC. When we make stuff, some of the DLC just doesn't have DRM. They're like, we're doing this for fun mostly. But if people are gonna pirate our stuff because
the thing is, they are obviously a niche sim in a niche market.
Exactly.
So they're probably not gonna get rich of it, but they're still asking quite high prices in this market.
In some routes, I will agree with you. Like, I'll say Selkirk shouldn't be $40. I mean, you get a lot with it now compared to when you first got it. It should have been $20.
Makes me want to punch you.
I'll say, like, the lowest I would say Selkirk could go would be like $25 because you're getting the Amtrak cuts and stuff for like 40 miles. You're getting like 30 or 40 miles of the You're getting like 35 miles of the Amtrak cuts and stuff. You're gonna like 30 to 40 miles of regular running. And you know, because I mean, there's Dovetail routes that are $40 that are like 30 miles, and I'm thinking, you know, what the hell? The reason why I defended Run 8's higher prices sometimes compared to Dovetail is because there's one more replayability thing you don't get in TS, and again, it's just what Run 8's focus was multiplayer. You know, in TS, if you want to get more playability out of a sim, you have to look up.
Run 8 community.
Well, you see, Run 8 is one of the few train sim games that I haven't really tried. I mean, normally I do try everything out before I judge it, but I mean, I'm personally not super interested in US content. Obviously, I'm from Europe, so...
Right, no, I understand why
I just didn't see the point in, you know,
No, I totally get you. It's definitely not a thing for everyone. It's definitely... Run 8 is definitely... If you're not fond of US stuff, it's not worth investing in. I mean, I'll say that right now. I'm not going to say, like, well, why don't you like US stuff, like some people will say. Like, if you don't like US stuff, then definitely don't pick it up, because that's all you're going to get.
I wish I had that answer, but when an American says they don't like American stuff, they label you as a friggin' illegal alien that needs to get shot in the face.
What'd they say?
Well, that's some people. I mean, yeah, I think Run 8 could do foreign stuff. The problem is that the whole dev team, as far as I know, except for like one artist, are all from the US. So it's not, they don't really have like a team that can like, and most of these people, except for the lead programmer, everyone at Run 8 does this part-time. That's why it takes everything so much longer to come out.
Jonah, you know how you...
That's not to say that they aren't being too slow sometimes. There are times where they
You know how you would go... You know you're going on about the multiplayer aspect of it, or some of it was. So something I want to bring out, something that Run 8. Reason why I think Dovetail will never succeed in the multiplayer aspect, and this is just my opinion. I'll just say right now, and I'll say this on the stream. They will never succeed because they're not. I mean, you saw they said they were going to do multiplayer, right? But think of it this: they're focusing more on DLC than they are than multiplayer.
And with the amount of DLC...
They have a role they have a huge developer team they need to pay, obviously.
Okay,
so
John.
Exactly, yeah. And the thing is, it's the reason why... The reason why Run 8 got away with multiplayer is because that's what it was originally designed for from the moment they started developing it. And it's not to say that DLC or stuff can't work. I'll say this right now. It makes me more and more angry every single time I think about it. Is MSTS2 was what a combination of Run 8 and TSW in a way that I wish had come out. It had the whole, you know, single player aspect. You can zoom out on Google Earth and do stuff, and everyone was like, well, that's all MSTS is. And then I looked into some old development videos, and it had multiplayer. And I was thinking, this was meant to be a single player experience. Now you're telling me it had multiplayer that we never got? What?
Gee, I thought you were going home.
And multiplayer, I'll say this, there's a reason why multiplayer is not an easy thing to develop for. I totally get why they, you know, would be.
I'm gonna explore this Amtrak sleeper car.
I can only stream this for like another 5 minutes, but before I have to go off to work at like 3:45.
Oh, well, it's 30 minutes.
Is there a Pacific train coming through?
The thing with
that's just the museum train.
The reason people keep asking, well, is there going to be multiplayer? The problem with multiplayer is you would have to design it when you're designing the original game. This isn't one of those games you can tack it on later. With the more DLC you have, the more chance you have for bugs to crop up. But it continued development of the sim.
Obviously.
Run 8 started doing multiplayer. That's the reason why Dovetail isn't doing multiplayer right now. Because you would have to do a massive overhaul of pretty much most of the TSW
Obviously,
engine to
the
get
entire
it to work.
dispatcher system needs to be reworked for multiplayer.
Absolutely.
Game
Yeah,
logic
talk
needs
about
to be
running
reworked. Trains need to be able to like spawn in on the fly and disappear again, stuff like
I was
that.
gonna say, you have to take into account, yeah, you'll have the friggin', what I like to call the, kids, who are more than likely gonna be blowing red signals.
Well, the other thing is the AI in Train Sim World is just not. I mean, when you program it, it can be smart, but the AI in TSW is not programmed to be able to handle really much. I know it's somewhat dynamic, like if you're late sometimes, it might line an AI around you or sometimes, but it's not smart enough to know, hey, something spawned right in front of me, can I stop right in time? Like, it's not meant to be able to work. The AI in TSW is designed to handle one player and one player alone, and then whatever other AI the dispatcher does. With Run 8, the AI has to deal with whatever the player is. That's like if if a player, say they actually spawn a train in front of an AI in Run 8, the AI will instantly stop itself to prevent it from crashing and corrupting itself, or corrupting the player, or causing instability on the server. And the AI in TSW is not necessarily that there yet in terms of smartness.
The AI in TSW is go here, stop here, without anything in between.
Yeah, I mean,
certainly,
it
yes.
looks like it can be pretty complex, like as far as I saw from the editor's screen, but it's still not.
With Unreal Engine, what I was noticing in the things, as long as just and figuring out how to work it.
Well, certainly the problem that all paths trains can take are hard-coded. Trains won't do anything else. And the first train that comes is the first train that leaves. And that's a problem where, you know, if the player drives a passenger train and the player is late, it's possible for a freight train to be just a bit earlier at the dispatch, and then the dispatcher will let the freight train through first, which is completely stupid. At least in European routes. In the US, that's probably realistic, but here it's stupid. So yeah, that's the thing, it's not dynamic at all. And when I look at other games where the AI can, you know, on the fly decide, see what's the situation, see what train has priority, and act based upon that.
I mean, trains can do that too. The problem with trains is that you have to issue the proper commands and test things constantly.
Obviously.
In order to help it. Like, that's it's one of the reasons why the AI, is that a red signal? Oh my Christ.
Since Trains in Your Era, the AI has gotten smarter, but it's slow. You see, it is now possible that I can tell the AI to just drive from A to B, and no matter what's in the way, it will find a path. But the thing is, it will often stare at the red signal for 3 minutes until it finds the correct path. So it seems to just go path by path, one by one, try out every junction from A to Z.
That's the end of the stream for today.
I don't even want to know what you just said, Jonah.
I couldn't tell it at first. It looked like I was lined out, but apparently the switch in front of me is lined against me with a red signal, and apparently.
So you just drove.
Well, apparently you can't.
So you
force it. You can't force the points out of the. I saved myself, so I can put myself and stop myself when I reload this. But unfortunately, this is a weird thing, because it's the only sim where I've seen this happen. Is if the points are lined against you, the points somehow have infinite mass and can derail anything.
Well, I guess that's TS logic.
I believe so.
TS logic.
Well, in trains, unless differently configured, the points set against will just be cut open like in real life, and no one cares.
Like,
in reality, you can blow through a switch and you'll
exactly. The switch is designed to break when a train goes against the wrong direction.
Just don't reverse over it, because I've done that.
Obviously, don't do that. That does cause a derail the train.
Can you guys see my video, or do I need to put the link in the chat so you can actually see what I'm doing?
Leave the link in the chat again.
All right, that is the end of TS for now. I'll do a follow up with either the. Well, I gotta finish.
Which chat are you putting the link in?
Thankfully,
Guys,
wasn't the current
I might
TSW under
do.
I mean, I
See
can.
a
more
train.
of
I saw a
framework
train
from
once
the
at
Unreal
the.
editor, but more user friendly with rail traffic from the dispatcher. Yeah.
I seen the train at the Union Pacific Railroad main line. It was in Louisiana. It said they had a Union Pacific engines or ST-70As, ACE, whatever it is, or the ES44 AC. Just making a switch and dropping it off freight cars, and they carrying the freight cars back to the city.
Let me just try making this
So I'll
manual.
continue
Nah.
this.
I'll tell you this. Consider that I've pretty much told the TS dispatcher when I've made scenarios to kill itself, and believe it or not, I've always gotten my way with it. Surprisingly. Wait till the TSW dispatcher meets me.
What the dispatcher in TS and TSW was getting a little unrealistic. It needs to be realistic, right?
The problem with TSW's dispatcher is somewhat less with the dispatcher and more with the route. Like, for example, everyone's like, well, why do you have the cab car wait for 30 minutes in the NEC service mode? Because there's like 12 signals less in the NEC tunnels than in reality.
Yeah, and actually, this is something that I've actually noted.
Yeah, the tunnels are a horrible experience. If you drive with access on, you cannot make it on time.
More Union Pacific trains.
I'll tell you this about and this actually applies for Long Island Railroad as well. With the way the signals are set up, where they actually are in retrospect to which ones actually physically exist, you will not be able to make a fucking prototypical timetable for a Long Island Railroad because you need to have the ability to spat through signals and literally crawl up right behind trains at Jamaica like they do during the morning rush hour.
Wait a minute, someone call my name.
Okay, I need to figure out how to actually get the ID, the voice for the video channel.
I did post it on the off-topic channel. Just go to the off-topic channel.
You just click it and there you go.
Yeah, I'm running the Searchlight AC44 since I have totally not a free copy, so.
I was trying to buy it, but is something wrong with it?
I ain't buying it right now.
Oh yeah, Matt.
What, Zay?
I don't think you were here when this happened, but I posted in a group that Woody's in.
Okay.
I posted about my problem, and he said and someone in that group, he was like, authentication? Unless you pirate it, then you're so gonna get it.
Well,
This dude like accused me of pirating it. I'm like, no, I didn't. There we go. Nope, wanted a international truck to be.
I'm gonna shut down the screen so like this for
both.
Alright, folks, that's the end of part 1.
My stream.
Yeah, the end of part 1. I'll be doing a follow-up later. And
Where's Woody's stream in the background?
Tonight I'll be doing the rail driver testing. I have to set all that software up. So I'll talk to you guys in
Well,
Discord.
I don't want to do
and
rail
stream
driver.
real quick.
I'm good. I don't want to do run A. I'm just doing some realistic training stuff in the West.